I never believed in magic. Not in the fairy tale sense, anyway. Science, logic, rules, those were the only constants in my life. But that night, staring at the small, shimmering pink liquid in a delicate glass cup, I realized how fragile my certainty really was. You don't have to, my stepmom said, her tone playful, yet edged with something I couldn't place. But if you do, promise me you'll keep an open mind. I laughed, rolling my eyes. I was 17, fearless, or at least I thought I was. Fine, I said. One sip. Just to humor you. The moment it touched my lips, the world shifted. Sweet, floral, intoxicating, it lingered on my tongue like sunlight wrapped in sugar. My head felt light. A warmth spread from my chest, curling under my skin, reshaping everything inside me. My pulse raced, heart hammering with a wild cocktail of fear and exhilaration. I staggered back, gripping the counter. What's happening? I whispered, voice trembling. My throat felt tight, my voice, higher. I cleared it. This isn't me. And yet, when I stumbled to the mirror, I froze. The reflection staring back wasn't me. My jaw softened. My cheeks glowed with a delicate flush. My eyes, wider, brighter, almost luminous, blinked in disbelief. My hair, untouched before, now fell in silky waves over my shoulders. Even my hands were smaller, fingers long and delicate as if sculpted by someone else entirely. I can't. My voice caught, faltering as I pressed trembling hands to my face, to my chest, to my arms. Every inch of me had changed. And the fear, the disbelief, the overwhelming curiosity, I felt them all at once, crashing over me like a wave I couldn't fight. From somewhere behind me, my stepmom's soft laughter echoed, teasing but not cruel. Relax, she said. Just let it happen. Feel it. Don't fight it. I wanted to fight. I wanted to deny. But my body was no longer my own. Trembling, I sank to the cool kitchen floor, watching my reflection transform with every breath. And in that moment, I realized that life, my life, had just split in two, the world I knew, and the one that had just begun. The next morning, reality hit me harder than I could have imagined. I woke up in my room, still trembling from the night before. Sunlight slanted through the blinds, casting soft stripes across my floor. My reflection in the mirror across the room stopped me cold. Even in my familiar clothes, my body felt wrong. Not fully mine. My jawline, my cheeks, my chest, even my posture, had subtly shifted overnight. I looked different, and it terrified me. At school, everything became a minefield. Every glance from a classmate, every whisper in the hallway, felt amplified. I walked down corridors thinking I could hide in my hoodie, my backpack slung low, but even that couldn't shield me from the self-consciousness clawing at my chest. "Hey, you okay?" asked a friend in the cafeteria, concern in their eyes. "Yeah, just tired," I muttered. Tired of what? Of being me? Of not being me? The words sounded hollow even as they left my mouth. Lunch was the worst. I couldn't eat, couldn't focus. I kept noticing other students, how effortlessly they crossed their legs, how their hair bounced when they laughed, the subtle sway in their hips. The way they carried themselves, it wasn't about beauty or fashion, it was confidence. Something I suddenly craved but felt I had lost. At home, mirrors became both fascination and torment. I avoided them when I could, yet couldn't resist stealing glimpses. My clothes no longer fit right. The hoodie sagged in unfamiliar ways, my jeans clung oddly to my hips. Every touch of fabric against my skin reminded me of the transformation that had started in the kitchen, in that first dizzying sip of pink liquid. Her texts didn't help. "So, recovered from your little adventure yet?" I typed. Deleted. Typed again. Finally, it messed with my head more than I expected. The reply came instantly, I could tell. "You didn't look uncomfortable, you looked surprised." My stomach flipped. Was she teasing? Observing? Encouraging? I didn't know. Nightfall was the worst. Alone in my room, shadows stretching across the walls, I couldn't sleep. I ran my fingers over my face, my arms, my chest. Each touch felt foreign and intimate all at once. Questions swirled in my mind. Who was I now? Was this temporary? Permanent? And beneath the fear, A strange, undeniable thrill pulsed, a tiny spark of curiosity that I didn't yet understand. By the end of the night, I knew one thing: nothing in my life could go back to the way it was. Not school. Not home. Not even the reflection staring back at me from the mirror. I was changed, and every step I took in my familiar world now carried the weight, and the excitement, of someone entirely new. The first night I locked my bedroom door, my heart was hammering like a drum in my chest. The house was silent, the air heavy and still, and I felt like a thief sneaking into a world I wasn't supposed to enter. Under my bed, I had hidden a small shopping bag, a few simple clothes I'd bought secretly, unsure why I'd needed them, yet unable to resist. Tonight, I finally took them out. My hands shook as I pulled out the skirt, a soft, flowing fabric that smelled faintly of lavender, and the blouse, light and silky. Nothing dramatic, nothing flashy. Just gentle. Comfortable. Almost safe. I told myself I was experimenting. Just seeing how it felt. But deep down, I knew this was more than curiosity. I changed slowly, reverently, letting the fabric slide over my skin. The skirt brushed against my legs like a whisper, sending shivers up my spine. The blouse hugged my shoulders softly, its texture soothing yet electrifying. I walked to the mirror, heart pounding, and froze. The reflection staring back was neither fully stranger nor fully me. My cheeks glowed, soft and delicate. My jawline had softened further. My hair fell in perfect, silky waves. And my posture, even that had changed, instinctively, without thought. I turned slowly, studying myself from every angle, my eyes wide, breathing shallow, fingers trembling. I experimented with movement. A step to the left. A tilt of my head. Sitting cross-legged on the bed. Every motion revealed new details. The subtle sway of my hips, the softness of my hands, the delicate arch of my shoulders. I tried speaking aloud, and the sound startled me. My voice was higher, gentler, almost musical. I laughed softly, a sound that was foreign yet utterly captivating. Curiosity overpowered fear. I experimented with gestures, the way I held a cup, the way I brushed hair from my face, how I shifted my weight. Each small movement made me more aware of this new body, this new presence. I practiced in front of the mirror for hours, experimenting with posture, expressions, even my tone of voice. The anxiety that had gripped me earlier began to intertwine with a growing excitement, a thrill I couldn't quite name. Hours slipped by unnoticed. I felt more alive than I ever had. Every touch, every glance at my reflection, every delicate sway of the skirt against my legs was a revelation. And yet, with the exhilaration came a pang of fear. What if someone found out? What if I couldn't go back? When I finally changed back into my old clothes, I folded the skirt and blouse carefully, placing them back in the bag like fragile treasures. I lay in bed, heart still racing, mind swirling with questions and sensations I didn't yet fully understand. But one thought refused to leave me. This wasn't just a phase. Something inside me had awakened, a part one could no longer ignore. I had tasted of freedom, a discovery, a version of myself that was both terrifying and intoxicating. And I knew, deep down, that I had only just begun to explore what it truly meant to become who I was now. The first time I stepped outside dressed as this new version of me, my heart nearly leapt out of my chest. I stood just inside the doorway of my apartment, hand hovering over the handle, listening to the muffled sounds of the street. Cars passing, distant conversations, the normal life I'd always known. My reflection in the glass door caught me mid-breath, and for a second, panic surged. What if someone recognized me? What if they laughed, or whispered, or, worse? I took a deep breath. Just a few minutes, I whispered to myself. That's all. You can do this. The door clicked shut behind me, and the world opened like a vast, unfamiliar stage. Every step sent shivers up my spine. The air brushed against my legs, soft and cool, making me hyper-aware of every movement. At first, I kept my head down, convinced that every passerby could see through me. My pulse throbbed violently, each beat announcing my fear and exhilaration. But nothing happened. People walked past without noticing. A couple smiled at each other. A stranger held the door open, saying, "After you," with effortless politeness. My voice trembled as I muttered thanks, and they didn't flinch. It was liberating. Terrifying. Exhilarating. Over the next few weeks, I pushed myself further. Quick walks became coffee runs, which turned into afternoons in the park. Each time, I tested my confidence, meeting strangers' eyes, walking with intention, learning to inhabit this new body fully. I discovered the thrill of being seen, really seen, as someone delicate, soft, feminine, yet alive with my own energy. I practiced gestures, expressions, and movements that had seemed foreign before. How my hips swayed naturally when I walked, how my hands moved when I spoke, how my posture changed to be lighter, more graceful. Even small victories, a compliment from a stranger, a smile from someone passing, made my chest swell with pride and confidence. One afternoon, a reflection in a shop window stopped me cold. I stared. My chestnut hair shimmered in the sunlight. My blouse fell perfectly over my shoulders. My posture was natural, unforced. And for the first time, I didn't flinch. I didn't hide. I studied myself, fascinated by how far I had come, by the soft yet powerful presence I now carried. Yet there were moments of fear too. Every step outside carried the risk of recognition, the anxiety of being exposed. My friends could notice. My family could notice. Even my own reflection occasionally frightened me with how different it looked from the me I had once known. But the more I explored, the more I realized that this was not about rebellion or shock. This was about me. Discovering parts of myself I had never seen, learning to move, speak, and exist in a body that had awakened with something both magical and terrifying. I was blending fear with excitement, uncertainty with confidence, and slowly, incrementally, creating a version of myself that felt authentic, whole, and alive. Every outing became a lesson. Every reflection, a revelation. Every interaction, a test of courage. And with each passing day, I began to understand something important. Femininity was not just about clothes or appearance. It was about presence, confidence, and being unapologetically oneself. It happened on an ordinary Thursday, the kind of day you never expect to change your life. I was at school, walking through the crowded hallways, when I felt it, a prickle at the back of my neck, a sense that something was off. Conversations seemed to quiet around me. Glances lingered a second too long. My heartbeat quickened. I couldn't tell if it was fear or anticipation, or both. Then it happened. A friend, someone I had grown up with, stopped me in the hallway. Their eyes widened in recognition. Is that you?" they whispered, disbelief lacing their voice. Every instinct screamed at me to deny it. To laugh it off. To run. But I stood frozen, trembling, staring at them, and realized that hiding was no longer an option. "Yes," I said, voice soft but firm, almost musical. "It's me." The pause that followed felt eternal. Then, slowly, they nodded. "Wow, okay. I didn't expect this. You look amazing." Amazing. The word struck me like a shockwave. For the first time, someone acknowledged the version of me I had been afraid to show. And it felt terrifyingly good. Later that day, my manager at work called me into their office. "We need to talk," they said gently, eyes scanning my face for a clue. "I just want to know, how do you want to be seen here?" The question hit harder than any confrontation could. Images flashed through my mind. The first sip of the potion, the transformations in my bedroom, the secret walks outside, every glance at my reflection. I realized then that the choice wasn't about other people, it was about me. I'm still figuring that out, I admitted, my voice shaking. But I want to be honest. With myself. With everyone. They nodded slowly, understanding flickering in their eyes. That's all we need. Honesty. That night, alone in my room, I stared at my reflection in the full-length mirror. The person staring back was fully me, yet fully transformed. The curves, the softness, the warmth, it was all mine. And I realized something profound. I could deny this version of myself, hide in fear, or I could embrace it fully. The decision felt monumental. My pulse raced, every nerve alive. And finally, I smiled, a small, trembling, but honest smile. "I choose me," I whispered. For the first time, I wasn't afraid. I wasn't hiding. I was ready to step into my own life, entirely, unapologetically, and without shame. The morning after my decision, I woke up with a clarity I had never felt before. Sunlight spilled across my room, illuminating every corner, every familiar object, and yet everything felt different, sharper, more alive. I didn't hesitate. I dressed deliberately, carefully choosing an outfit that felt true to me, a soft blouse that draped perfectly, a skirt that swayed naturally with each movement, and shoes that clicked softly on the floor. I looked in the mirror and for the first time didn't flinch. "This is me," I said quietly, testing the words. They felt solid, grounded, and undeniably real. Stepping outside, the world seemed less intimidating. My movements were lighter, more deliberate. I held my head high, my shoulders relaxed, no longer bracing for judgment or fear. People passed me without second-guessing, some noticed, some didn't, and it didn't matter. I felt fully present, fully myself. At school, friends approached me differently. "You look really confident today," one said, smiling. A teacher complimented my outfit casually. No whispered judgment, no sideways glances, just acknowledgement and acceptance. My stepmom, of course, was quietly delighted. "I knew you'd find your way," she said one evening, offering a knowing smile. Her potion had started the transformation, but I realized it had only catalyzed what was already inside me: courage, curiosity, and the will to explore my identity. I also discovered online communities, people like me navigating similar journeys. For the first time, I felt seen, supported, and connected. Conversations flowed easily. Advice and encouragement became constant companions. And in this network, I found a chosen family, a group of people who celebrated my authenticity without question. Even simple moments carried empowerment: running errands, holding a coffee cup with delicate fingers, laughing freely in public. Every small interaction reinforced the choice I had made to embrace myself fully. Yes, some days were still difficult. Mirrors sometimes startled me. Anxiety occasionally flared when I anticipated judgment. But now, I had the tools, the confidence, and the belief in my own voice to navigate the world unapologetically. Standing before the mirror at night, brushing my hair, smoothing my skirt, I felt a sense of completeness I had never known. The fear that had once consumed me now existed alongside pride and acceptance. I had transformed not only in body but in spirit. I had stepped into myself, and nothing could take that away. Looking back now, I don't see a potion, a bet, or a twist of fate. I see a doorway, a door I never knew existed until I stepped through it. The magic wasn't just in the pink liquid my stepmom offered. The magic was in the awakening it triggered inside me: the courage to explore, the curiosity to experiment, the fear to confront, and the strength to embrace every part of myself. I didn't change overnight. I didn't become fearless. But I became honest. Truly honest, with myself, with the world, and with the reflections staring back at me each morning. Every blush, every tremor, every shiver was a lesson. Every step outside, every smile, every compliment reinforced the power of authenticity. I learned that fear and excitement often travel together, and that courage isn't the absence of fear, it's the decision to move forward anyway. If you're watching this and feel trapped by expectation, shame, or doubt, know this: sometimes, the moment you fear most is the one that sets you free. Step into your truth. Explore it. Embrace it. And discover the magic that has always been inside you.